Hello listeners, in this video we'll be discussing about the poem Musee des Beaux Arts, which is written by W.H. Auden. This poem, Museum of Fine Arts, is written in the year 1938 while W.H. Auden was staying in Brussels, Belgium with Christopher Igerud. This poem, Musee des Beaux Arts, it was first published under the title Palais des Beaux Arts, which means Palace of Fine Arts. In this poem, W.H. Auden, he describes the impact of suffering on humankind through the use of one specific artwork. This poem is written in the year 1938, just before the start of World War II. After writing this poem, Auden's life has changed a lot. His way of life and his way of expression and taking up things in his life has changed a lot. So he left behind his political career and began to develop one that was more spiritual in nature. At the same time, he also emigrated to USA. He left England and Europe. Most of his poetry relates to the state of human heart, history, social trends, and world affairs. Let us now see the summary of the poem. Auden, while looking at a gallery which is filled with works that are celebrated by pre-19th century painters, he thinks that these artists who has painted the pictures has accurately portrayed the suffering of humankind. Then the speaker in the poem expands on his idea by referring to the Census at Bethlehem. That's a painting by Flemish Renaissance artist named Peter Bruegel the Elder. Looking at Bruegel's The Census at Bethlehem painting, Auden says that suffering occurs to people in everyday lives. Then the speaker points at the people who are eating in the picture. Then he points out somebody who's opening a window and others just simply walking there. Then the speaker looks at Mother Mary who's pregnant and she has come along with Joseph to register in the census. With regard to the birth of Jesus Christ, Auden he refers to two incidents here looking at the picture. He refers to older individuals who are eagerly waiting and anticipating the birth of Jesus Christ. But there's another group of people who are not awaiting for the birth of Jesus Christ. For example, he refers to the children in the painting who are just playing games and they do skating on a pond by a wooded area. According to the speaker, he says the artists are mindful that violence is carried out in some schedule or it is carried out in a chaotic area as life goes on around it. To this statement, the speaker then refers to another painting, that is the Massacre of the Innocents. This painting is done by Peter Paul Rubens. Peter Paul has depicted the episode of the biblical massacre of the innocents of Bethlehem, which is referred in the Gospel of Matthew, chapter 2, verse 13 to 18. This picture depicts the killing of the first Christian martyr. Martyr meaning a person who was killed because of believing in Christianity. This Christian martyr is done because Herod the Great, who is the king of Judah, he orders the execution of all male children who are around 2 years old. In this painting, Auden refers to the animals who behave differently. He refers to dogs and horses. To specify this example, Auden refers to yet another Bruegel's painting, that is Landscape with the Fall of Icarus. This painting is an oily painting and it shows the Greek mythological figure named Icarus. Everything in the picture seems to disregard Icarus' violent death. In the picture, there is a farmer who drives a plough in the painting. So in the picture, when Icarus dies, nobody regards his death. For example, the sun in the painting continues to shine, and looking at it, the speaker draws his attention to its reflection on Icarus' pale legs as they descend into the murky water. At the end, the speaker concludes the poem by bringing an image of an luxurious ship. He says that this ship has only witnessed Icarus falling from the sky, but after he falls into the water, he must have got a journey from then on. Let's see the line by line explanation of this poem. After suffering, they were never wrong, the old masters, how well they understood its human position, how it takes place. While someone else is eating or opening a window or just walking dully long. The poet starts the poem by just beginning by its setting. So the setting is like this. The poem takes place in the Old Masters Museum, one of the Royal Museum of Fine Arts of Belgium. The poet refers the painters as old masters, meaning a highly skilled European artist who produced works before the 19th century. The poet says the old masters, they always understood how people respond to suffering. Then the speaker talks about the position of human. He says each people have different suffering, that is, each people's position is different. One person might be in pain while somebody else is going through different motions of life. That is why he refers as while someone else is eating or opening a window or just walking dully along. So looking at the picture, he refers to these he refers to the people who are eating, opening a window or just walking. How when the aged are reverently, passionately waiting for the miraculous birth, there always must be children who did not specially want it to happen, skating on a pond at the edge of the wood. In these lines, the speaker is referring to Bergel's painting, The Census at Bethlehem. He says not everybody is waiting for the miraculous birth of Jesus Christ. So he refers to children there. Some children are playing, some do skating next to the pond area, which is at the edge of the wood. They never forget that even the dreadful martyrdom must run its course. Anyhow, in a corner, some untidy spot where the dogs go on with their doggy life and the tortoise horse scratches its innocent behind on a tree. In these lines, the speaker is referring to the Massacre of the Innocents, which is painted by Peter Paul Rubens. Referring to this particular painting, the speaker says each person experienced different things in their life. For example, he refers to a particular spot in the corner in the picture. He points at the dogs and horses. For example, dogs live their own life, that is doggy life, and some horses are tortured and they are put to death. In Bruegel's Icarus, for instance, how everything turns away quite leisurely from the disaster. The plowman may have heard the splash, the forsaken cry, but for him it was not an important failure. Then the poet gives the example of the painting which is done by Bruegel, Landscape with the Fall of Icarus. So here in this particular painting, there are disasters going around. There is a plowman, he does his own work, but Icarus in the same way, he drains inside the sea. But he did not hear the cry of Icarus, so Icarus dies there. So the failure is only for Icarus because he only has experienced the failure. The sun shone as it had to on the white legs disappearing into the green water, and the expansive delicate ship that must have seen something amazing, a boy falling out of the sky, had somewhere to get to and sailed calmly on. In these lines, the poet says, whatever happens, the sun shines, and it also disappears into the green water in the evening. The only thing that witnessed Icarus' death is this expensive, delicate ship. The ship has wandered looking at the boy disappearing, who has fallen out of the sky into the water, And the speaker says the boy might have sailed calmly on from then on. Hope this video helped you to know about the poem which is written by W.H. Auden. Keep subscribed to this channel to watch more videos. Thank you.